Hello, everyone. Welcome to study road subgrid and payment engineering. Chapter 1, Introduction. In Asian China, from the 1066 BC to 1912, people traveled by horse or carriages. In order to meet traffic needs, post roads was built from the 1066 BC. Some roads were built with bricks or block stones, while some others were built without a hard surface. At the end of the Qing dynasty, automobiles were imported to China and brought new demands for roads. The Asian post roads was upgraded, and simply built public roads were built to meet the new demands. From 1912 to 1949, thousands of simply built public roads were gradually developed in China. For running automobiles, those roads had a smoother surface compared with the post roads. When People's Republic of China was founded in 1949, automobile ownership was less than 50,000. For the economic recovery in 1956, the first truck was made in China. After 4 years, in 1960, the first heavy-loaded truck was made in China. At the end of the 1980s, the automobile ownership in China reached 1,680,000, more than 30 times of that in 1949. Then, take a look at the Chinese roads. In 1949, the road mileage was less than 130,000 kilometers, and some of them was built without hard surface and could not meet the traffic needs in rainy days. There was an urgent need for all-weather highways. And this background, crushed stones, asphalt, concrete, cement were used to build the roads. From 1949 to 1980, more than 800 kilometers of highways was built. Most of the roads had hard surface. Even though those roads were not thick, they were significant for running vehicles in all weather conditions. From the 1980s, more and more heavy loads were running on the roads. The roads was thin with thin surface, could not meet the traffic needs. It also meets the heavy load truck needs. From the 1980s to present, millions of high classes of roads have been built with the higher quality of the materials, the thick pavement layers, comprehensive design, and the street construction. That's the history of the traffic and the roads of China. With the traffic evolution from the horse carriages into heavy load trucks, the roads is appearing for stages. The Asian post roads for horse or carriages. The simply built public roads for the early automobiles, the early highways for less load trucks, and the high classes of highways for heavy load trucks. Those four stages of development are closely related to subgrant payment. The topic of this course is about the subgrant payment. Payment is the hard surface of a road, while subgrade is the underlying structure of the road. What's the subgrade? Subgrade is the layered structure which is composed of the roadbeds, embankments, ground soils. The road beds may further divide into the upper road beds and lowers, and the embankments divide into upper embankments and lower embankments. The layered structure is formed through the earthwork of cutting or filling. When the road needs passing through a mountain, cutting earthwork is performed and the cut subgrade is formed. When the road needs passing over a lower land, filling earthwork is needed, and the fill subgrade is formed. When both cutting and filling earthwork are needed at the same time, the cut and fill subgrade is formed. Additional information will be introduced in Chapter 4. After subgrade is formed, one option is open to traffic. Without hard surface, the road is called unpaved road. Another option is built with hard surface. The road is called paved road. Nowadays, there are block pavements, crushed stone pavements, concrete pavement, and asphalt pavement. We mainly focus on the asphalt pavements and cement concrete pavement. Pavement is a layered structure seated on subgrade. After subgrade construction, cushion or capping layer is paved on subgrade, then subbase, base, and surface is built. Obviously, pavement is a multi-layered structure, which is built by different materials with different requirements. In Chapter 5 and 6 of this online course, we will discuss how to design this layered structure. Roads are made of the materials. There are a wide range of the materials. Fine-grained coarse-grained soils are used for building our subgrade. 4 types of the materials: ABM, HBM, UBM, and PCC are used for the payments. ABM is used in asphalt pavement and surface and base. ABM is commonly used in base layer. UBM is commonly used in cushion layer, base, and subbase. And the PCC is probably used as a concrete pavement surface. Details of the road materials will be discussed in Chapter 3. Roads constructed to serve traffic. As shown in this figure, there are various traffic running on the pavement. Some pavement takes large percent of the entire traffic flow, but they are less load. Private cars, for instance, take over 40% of the traffic flow, but their weights are less than 30 kilonewton. Some vehicles take a small percent of the traffic flow, but they are heavy loads, over 300 kilonewton. Details about the traffic loading will be discussed in Chapter 2. Temperature and water not only influence the road materials properties, but also induce additional stresses. For instance, at high temperature, asphalt becomes soft, and rotting may occur, and the circulate the load of trucks. While at low temperature, asphalt becomes stiffer, and some cracking may occur. Temperature changing may result in concrete cracking. Excessive water contents may result in subgrade instability and pavement damage. Obviously, environmental conditions are critical to subgrade and pavement engineering. In this online course, temperature and water are considered as major environmental conditions. In Chapter 2, details will be discussed. Through carefully considering materials, traffic, and environmental conditions, the key task of the road subgrade and pavement engineering is to create and maintain a strong, stable, durable, safe, and comfortable road. In other words, roads should have certain serviceability, including road capability and the functionality. The road capacities include the safeness, strength, stability, durability. And the road functionalities include the skidding resistance and smoothness. Once the road or subgrade or pavements fail to meet the serviceability, the corresponding distresses may occur. They may be the rotting, fatigue cracking, sliding, thermal cracking. Now we come back to our topic. Subgrade and pavement engineering. Obviously, our target is to build a road with certain serviceability. To reach this target, we should have knowledge of traffic, environment, materials, know the prospective serviceabilities, and do our engineering work such as design, construction, and maintenance. Traffic, environment, and materials are the key fundamentals for obtaining the serviceability of a road. Design, construction, and maintenance are the key engineering activities to achieve the serviceability requirement. In summary, subgrade and pavement engineering is about activity of design, construction, and maintenance, and considering traffic, environment, and materials for achieving certain serviceability. Now, at the end of this lecture, we discuss the main contents, which are divided into fundamentals and applications. The fundamentals are traffic, environment, and materials, which will be discussed in Chapter 2 and 3. And the applications is about the design of subgrade, asphalt pavement, and concrete pavement, which will be discussed in Chapters 4, 5, and 6. In sum, this online course is TM plus 3D. By the way, the construction and maintenance is not included in this online course, since they are included in other courses. Okay, that's all for today's lecture. Appreciate your listening, and see you next time.